right, well, welcome you guys, and thank you for having us and opening up your study for us tonight to share a little bit. As Pastor Ron said, we are a lot of the folks that go on our regular missions, our short-term missions trips. When I say short-term, that could be anything from a couple of days or actually even a Friday evening, because we'll be doing that together 2 Fridays from now, as Ron mentioned, going to Watts together. We really literally is a mission field right in our own backyard, but it's been such a blessing to be able to go there and partner with the church there. Up to a weekend trip, and I would like to let you guys know, and you're more than welcome to come. As a matter of fact, I would encourage you highly to try one of these, and the next one that's coming up is in September. I know it's kind of short after the beginning of school, but if you can get a Friday away, that's all it takes. Because we leave here on Thursday evening, and we get back Saturday night. So it really is just Friday as far as school and work is concerned. And we're going to be going down to El Hongo, Mexico. It's about a 3-hour drive from here. And spend a couple days there ministering. Lord willing, we get to go into the prison there and do an outreach to the inmates. And that's always an incredible time of ministry. So mark your calendars. It's going to be September the 21st through the 23rd. So it's the second to the last weekend. It's the third weekend in September. And I'll make sure that Pastor Ron lets you guys know more about that as it's getting closer. But we would love to have you guys come along with us and spend that time. So missions. Really what we want to do tonight is just share with you guys some of our experiences of what the mission field is like for us personally, how it's affected us, things we've learned along the way. So I've asked pretty much all of our missions team to share a little bit, and they'll each take a few minutes and give you their personal perspective, and then I'll kind of wrap it up at the end. And then when we're done with that, we're going to do a little, I know that next week is game night, and we actually have a game prepared for all of us, and Ron said we could take some time to do that, so we'll do that. But we're going to have Dan Alston come up first. And he didn't know what the order was, and he's going to share a little bit about his experience.
Thanks. I've been doing mission activity, really since I got involved in the church. I think my first mission activity was the Thanksgiving outreach. And it's a real simple thing, and it's something I want you guys to really think about. We're not sending you out as an individual to preach the gospel. We're sending you out as part of a team. And so for me, if you send me out individually, it's really nerve-wracking. But if you send me out as part of a team, I can look to see what somebody else does. I can look to see how Steve runs games and gets these kids joy, turned up and things. And I can do that. I can see how to paint artistically. I'm an engineer by background, but you can show me how to paint, and I can copy you. But I don't have to have an inherent talent to do something. My first out of the country missions trip was in 1999. I went to the Philippines with Gerard and a group from the church here. For like 10 days or something, and we split our time between Manila and a city called Dumaguete. In Manila, we did outreaches to what would be essentially the ghettos and barrios and things like this. And we did medical outreach, and we did games, and put on presentations, and taught in churches. In Dumaguete, we were actually involved with the building of the Calvary Chapel of Dumaguete. And Dumaguete is in the southern part of the Philippines. It's on an entirely different island in Manila. And when I got back, I thought, hey, I can do this. I have a lot of ability and talent when it comes to construction. Again, it's just stuff that I've picked up over the times. I actually learned a lot of construction from books because we didn't have Google and internet and stuff. So I actually had to open a book to read about building something. But we've gone down to Mexico. I've been down, I don't know how many times. married several times in the last 20 years, and been able to be involved in church plants, be involved in the construction of a new church, and it's just amazing to see how things have changed over the years, how God has just like grown Calvary Chapel Mexicali into Calvary Chapel Nalongo, and then now from Mexicali we have church plants that are gone out throughout that Mexicali area and getting involved with that. And it's amazing to be involved in that. And sometimes it's just painting walls, sometimes it's building bathrooms or stuccoing or something like that. And I can teach you guys how to do all that kind of stuff. So if you come, I'll show you how to do it, because then I can sit back and go, yeah, you're doing a good job. But missions doesn't require you to be a rocket scientist. If it was, we wouldn't be able to do it. Acts 1:8 is the Great Commission. And it says, when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, you shall be a witness to me in Judea, the city that you're in, in Jerusalem, and then in Judea, the county or area that you're in, and then Samaria, the country, and then to the ends of the world. So it's the Holy Spirit that empowers us and then works through us. And like I said, you get to go down with people who have experience. You come along. I can remember going to San Padre Island, which is an island off of Texas, a big beach community, and for spring break, college spring break. Now, college kids, like you, but maybe not as subdued, and carrying cakes down the beach and just wild, and sharing the gospel with them, handing out tracts. And again, that wouldn't be naturally something I would do, but I was there with some people, I don't know if you know Big Ron Penrose, who's a great evangelist, and you can see him, and I can copy that. And so I learned. And I'm encouraged by it, by these fellows who come alongside you and encourage you and stuff. So, I would encourage you to come. If you can get the weekend through. And I'll tell you the thing, I suffer the same thing that you might suffer from. While I'm retired, I'm busy, and I have stuff going on. So the first thing I have to do is get over myself and say, well, I'm really going to commit this time. There's a million other things I could be doing, but I'll say, I'm going to commit this time. And then I have to get over just, what am I going to do? I don't know how to do this, or I don't know how to do that. And that verse where Paul writes, do all things without complaining and disputing? Missions work will take and put you to the test on that. Because it's missions work. So you're in a foreign country a lot of times. You may not be very familiar with the language. They may not have the tools and the equipment and the materials that you're used with. And you have to work around it. And you got to do it with the heart of Christ. And but I would greatly encourage you to join the mission. Take and step out and come and see what God will do with you. You don't experience the fullness of God sitting in a chair in a chapel. I'm all for doing that because you will learn about God there, but I don't think you'll experience Him fully without stepping out. And it doesn't take great faith; it just takes a little faith, and God will work great things with you. All right.
I'm Debbie Fisher, married to this guy here. And we've been going down, I don't know, probably about 12 or 14 years now. And honestly, the first time we went down, or first time he went down, he went 2 or 3 times before I was able to go. And he was so excited about it, and he wanted me to come and go. And I didn't really want to. So don't tell him that, okay? I didn't tell him that, right? It was like, and I'm not even sure why I didn't want to go. I think part of it was because I didn't know what I was getting into. I just didn't know what to expect. But after I went a few times, I was hooked, and we've been going for 12, 14 years now. And I was thinking, why are we doing this? And it's because we want to be a support. It's like Dan's saying, we're a team, but we go down there because we want to support the missionaries. We want to support the pastors. And we do such a tiny, tiny little bit in everything that they're doing. And they're doing that really important work of reaching the community, going into the prison, having the outreaches. And we just come alongside and support. And that's what the Lord's been putting on my mind, is like, we are the support team. And we do it through construction. And these guys are encouraging you to go. I'm begging you to go. Look at us, we're old. We need some young blood. We need some strong guys to come down, and girls. It's not just guys. I don't do a lot of construction work, but I can paint. I've learned how to cut tile. We can take water to the guys when it's really hot and they're not hydrating enough. So there's lots and lots of things to do. And yes, we would love to have you all come. So we support them through construction. A lot of times they just don't have the ability to do the things that need to get done. They don't have the people, they don't have the finances, so we help them in construction. We also help them in outreaches, and that's something that the church plans. They plan it, and we come along, and we always bring cotton candy and popcorn and snow cones, so the kids all love us. And we support them. Sometimes we're serving food. We play games with the kids. Sometimes we take the block party games down and do that with the kids. So it changes every time. Every trip is different. And then we also do the missions. The outreach to the prison. And it's not scary, even though Claire thought she was going to die the first time she went. We go in, they have them in an auditorium, the pastor sings with them, he gives them a message, and then we help prepare the food for them. So it's stuff that's really fun to do. And let's see, what were the other things? Those are the main ways we support them. We support them also just by going down and being with them. Some of them are Mexican nationals, and if you know Spanish, boy, that would really help. I wish I did, but it's amazing how much you can communicate without knowing the language, and just acting things out, and there's such a love there. So they really appreciate us coming down. They are so blessed by us coming down, but I think we way more get the blessing. We're coming, every time we come back, I think, God, you've done such great things. The song, you've been so good to me. Because he's allowed us to be a part of all that. And it's just really been fun and exciting. And it's like family. It's like going to grandma's house or your aunt and uncle's house or something, because we've gotten to know these people over the last many years. And we really, you get there and there's hugs all around because they know you and they know that you're committed. And so if you started now, 10 years from now, you could be getting all those hugs too. So you don't have to wait that long. And finally, we have a whole lot of fun when we go. It's work, it's hard work. Guys are all exhausted on our way home, but we have so much fun together. And so it's, what can I say, it's just a blessing. It's so much more a blessing for us than what we do for them. So I leave you with that. And I beg you, come.
Thanks, Mike. I've been going for probably about maybe 6 years. I might be a little short on that. First time I volunteered was for the block party, I think, and it was with Steve. And he goes, "Oh, what do you know how to do?" I said, "Well, I can do a little construction." So I went with him and started building stuff and cutting stuff. And I'm not too good of a painter, so I think Dan painted most of the stuff that year. But it's really fun. It's really rewarding because you see other people that are kind of like struggling. They don't have much. And, I'm involved. I used to be a Catholic, and I was making pancakes when I was 5 years old for the homeless. So my mom was really, how do you say it, like pushing me to serve God, Jesus Christ. And from there, I grew up, and then I kind of went away for a while. And then when I moved back here, my daughter says, "Hey, why don't you go to church?" I said, "Okay, I'm fine with that." So I became a Christian. I got baptized. And most of the trips that we go, it is hard work, but the benefits are when you see the kids smile, when you're handing out snow cone, making cotton candy, you see the look on their face, and they don't really have too much over there. And for us to bring it to them is really rewarding to me, because I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I mean, I have money now, but that's beside the point. But I didn't grow up with, new shoes and all that stuff or nothing like that. My parents were very strict. They said, "Well, if you want some, you have to work for it." And I said, "That's fine." And so I did, but these trips are for them, mostly for me. I'd like to go and then help them out. I've been in construction most of my life. I started my career at 18 and retired at 49. So I put 31 years into the trade. And I did everything from concrete to pipe, heavy and highway, operating equipment, all kinds of stuff. So when I go there and they go, "Hey, do this," I said, "Yeah, no problem." So, we get done, and, the kids are like the last trip we went on. They had to walk all the way downstairs to go to the bathroom. And they go, "Well, we're going to build a bathroom up here." And who wants to walk all the way downstairs in the middle of the night as a little kid, So, I felt good about doing that and building the bathroom for them. And they're happy. We left it, semi without a door. Did we put the door on? I don't remember. But when I seen pictures of it, it was all painted and nice. And they had the flooring and it looked perfect. And I encourage you to go. It'll change your life. If you can actually put people in front of you, that's a good reward for everybody.
I was going down there, like Debbie said, sometimes just being with them, just hanging out with them. And especially for the missionaries, because it can be a lonely life. If they're not a national, and they're in a different culture, and there's a lot of adjustments to make, and a lot of them have made it over the years. But just to have, some friends from home, kind of, again, like Debbie was saying, almost like family visiting, so that's one of the things that's real important. But we're talking a lot about construction, but do know that every one of our trips involves both of those. Construction of some kind, there's always some kind of little work project. We always do some kind of an outreach. And even at times when we're not able to go into the prison, we still will do something in the neighborhood. Last time we were in El Longo, we had a movie night. And it was outdoors, so they set up a big screen and had a translated movie going, and we were doing stuff like Mike was saying with the kids and all that. And so there's all kinds of great opportunities.
They said all the great things, but we're kind of new to the gang, and they welcomed us with open arms. And you've got to make sure you have a good sense of humor, because they like to crack a lot of jokes. And two other things that they didn't mention is you eat very good down there. Because it's like you go down there and El Loco, is that how you say it? And they make this delicious carne asada, the pastor there. So, yeah, you do all the work and stuff, but you come home really stuffed. So if you like Mexican food, that's a good advantage to go down there. They take good care of you in that sense. And they're very nice, and you have a great time. And I don't want to reiterate everything they said, so that's why I mentioned my love stuff. Your turn.
Okay. And like you said, I would want to say what other people have already said. It really is it's a great time, and it's a great opportunity to go down there. Maybe just a little bit of our background. Claire and I both lived in Mexico for a while. I don't want to go too deep into the story, but I went down there to help some people set up a carpentry shop for 6 months. This was over 30 years ago. And we weren't even dating actually at the time. So that might be, some encouragement for you guys and gals there that way too. But we started writing letters, and I was only supposed to be down there, like I say, for 6 months. Well, I came back, long story short, after about a year, we got married. I took her down there. no Spanish at all, didn't speak a word of Spanish, and we were there for 4 more years. We actually have a son who's now 31, and he was born down there, so I have a son who's Mexicano. And now they call me, if any of you guys can translate it, they'll call me El Mexicano Lavado con Cloro. Anybody understand that? Can you translate it? Mexican washed in bleach. So. but just real quick about the trip down there is that we went down, we were kind of new to the church, very new to the church. We wanted to somehow get involved. We kept seeing this thing about, the Mexico missions trip. We didn't know anybody. We really didn't know anybody that was going down there. We hadn't met hardly anybody that was going down. And so we went back and forth about, should we go and not go? And she'd say, I don't think we should go. And then I'd say, yeah, let's go. And then I'd say, yeah, I'm not sure we should go. And she'd go, yeah, let's go. So anyway, we ended up going, okay? And because of that, we have gotten, and really say this with all my heart, involved with a really great group of people. And now we have friends here at the church. Mainly because we've got these two here who know everybody and aren't going to just let you sit on the sidelines. So we're grateful for that. But I encourage you that way, because there's time when you're traveling down there, when you're traveling back, when you're there for fellowships. Like you say, it is work, but it's cool because you're doing it with other people. You're getting to know other people, and it's probably the best way, really, to get to know other people is doing the work of the Lord. And just lastly, there's something for everybody. You don't have to, like we've been hearing people say, all you have to do is be willing. And if you're there with Steve, don't worry about it. He's going to give you something to do. One of these last trips, they were pouring cement, and so I was out there. You ever done anything with cement? No. Well, come on in here. And so, ankle-high cement. I'm stepping into this thing, and I don't remember what he had me doing with it. Doing something. So if that cement there, if you ever go there and it looks good, it's not because of me. But anyway, that's that. I don't want to go too long, but just encourage you. Come on down. We'd love to have you.
The OGs. We started together going to Mexico, and we had different groups, and we just kept on going. We started in 2004, so it's lots of stories to tell, but the things that were just been blessings is when we started going to the prisons, I had an opportunity. I am not bilingual by a long shot, so I can roll my R's with the best of them, but the pastor asked me to share with the prisoners one time, and I was going like, man, I was praying, oh Lord, hope he runs out of time here. I was praying, and then he just said, Carlos. So I got up there, Gerard goes, well, they were really listening to you. I said, man, I don't know what they were listening to, but I just shared my heart with them. And I just, what I knew, I shared, and they received it. But the things that in the prison when we go, you want to hear some men sing praise songs. I mean, these guys just let it all out. It just echoes through the whole prison. The first time I was there, we had no place to fix the food inside the same. So we were outside on the sidewalk, we were mixing, and all of a sudden the music was just coming out of the chapel we were in, and it was just echoing off all of the walls and the whole place. It was amazing, and we were just getting blessed. It wasn't the onions that were doing it, but it was a great time. And like I said, we developed relationships with people there. Pastor Juan Carlos is a good friend of ours. I told him one time, I said, I've got something, I'm taking something with me. And he goes, tell me, what is it? He goes, your love. So he gives me a big hug all the time we go down there, and my brother's gone down there with me, and we're old. I'm going to be 77 soon, and my brother's 2 years older than me. And we've been down there, and he's a welder, and so he's done a lot of stuff. So we're down there just giving it all all we had, you know, and we've enjoyed ourselves. We've done a lot of stuff. And Steve and I have just done a lot of construction down there, and just whatever's available, whatever you do. And last time I crawled inside of a tank, a barrel, and it was scraping in there for about 3 or 4 hours. You know, but it was just, you know, you do it as unto the Lord, you do it to His people, because they're blessed us. I mean, we come out of there much richer than we're going there, and they get by with what they've got. We come along and we just help. You know, we don't go in there and try to boss them around and tell them what to do. We're there to help them. We're there to bless them and just give what you got. I mean, whatever you can do, but if you do it with your heart, you do it with your, and just give it as unto the Lord, and you'll come back richer. So I just hope that you guys get a chance. Where's Josh at? He and I spent an afternoon. We didn't. He wasn't able to go to the prison, so I stayed back with him. So we got into the electrical, and we did some stuff there. But we had a good time. We had a time to chat, and really enjoyed the time there. So you know, and Matthew's been down there with us a couple of times. My granddaughter, she was like my daughter, but my granddaughter Ronnie, she's go down there. She's like one of the guys. I always tell somebody she works like a man, but she also eats like one too. But she's always been listening. She's gotten really tight with the daughters. I mean, we're talking about seeing these daughters that they've had since they were little guys. The first time I saw Pastor Juan Carlos, we were in Mexicali, and we were in there. We took over the chapel there, and we were eating there and everything. He came with the youth group there, and they were going to do something there. Then they stopped, and so they started cutting the watermelon on the top of the hood of the car. So we called them over, and they came. We got to know them. The next thing we know, Pastor Juan Carlos is over to El Hongo, starting a new mission trip. So we started going there, and it just blossoms and blossoms and blossoms, and just the things they've done. We built orphanages and bathrooms and churches, and to see this little church was probably no bigger than this thing right here. And the floors were all uneven, and it was the kind of houses stuck together. And now it's this big, huge 2-story building that's just amazing. And God just doing work and work and work. It's just, so it just goes on. There's just your heart's full and your mind is full, and you just really just develop relationships. It just it was people, you'll know them forever, you know, and we get to see them again.